Welcome to another video in this series where I go with completely random teams every game against the Open Great League, trying to get to at least rank 20, just doing this auto-rect style. You can see the rules underneath, and I don't know if you watched yesterday's video, but I went on a 10-win streak, which I did extend a little bit today, but you can definitely already a few days in tell that like the meta is settling back in where it was. So I've been playing with a lot of like single move 1350-ish Pokemons that had no place in the Great League in the first place. So it's been pretty rough, but I've picked both wins and losses, some of my spiciest games, and you are gonna see them in a second, and I hope you will enjoy. Just like the other videos, I will link the now playlist in the description. I will pin the matchups with timestamps in the comments, so you can just skip around if anything in particular interests you. And again, if you enjoy, do drop me a like and a comment. I would really appreciate that. And subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, because I'm just going to keep it coming, basically. Now let's get into the video and the battles, and I hope you enjoy. So a quick disclaimer, I did these battles yesterday. And I've done a lot during battle night, so I don't remember them all that well. So we'll just go through them together, and I'll just give you my commentary as to what I'm probably thinking. And the feature Pokemon in this first one will be Amoonguss. I do remember that it had some pretty bad matchups here, but it has a lot of bad matchups in general. So we get a really good lead initially. We're just going to let this go through. I don't reckon it'll do much, even if it's a Mud Bomb, just half. But Scammer is really bad for my team. Like, it's a hard counter to... it's a hard counter to 2 when Medicham just basically has to sacrifice itself if it wants to take it down. So we're probably going to shield here, yeah. And then we're probably going to try to Ice Punch. Ooh, that's not good. So we need to double shield here. Which means we need to farm more, because if our Pokemons with really bad Scammery matchups in the back face off against this, we probably just lose. But we do manage to take it out here. And without giving them much farm with whatever... Oh, okay, I actually just swap. Never mind that then. I guess I might want to try to sack Medicham later here. So we have a really bad matchup here. Amoonguss is one of those Pokemons that was really strong in the main games, but it just has some really weird moves for its typing here. So we're gonna throw a resisted Sludge Bomb here. Our fast attack is Feint Attack, which is like a mediocre dark fast attack, so it's pretty bad. And then we have a Digger's Bee, which is again a very bad matchup. So we're probably looking to just sack it to a Fire Punch here, and then come in with Victreebel, I'd guess. And then we Leaf Blade, and then hopefully this is enough to take out the Digger's Bee, and it is. So that's a good first game with a pretty weird Pokemon there. Second game here, the main feature is Rotom Wash, and then we have a Victini and a Quilava. I don't believe any of these are double moved. No, they're not. And the Quilava is pretty low CP too, so we see Charizard, which is a pretty good matchup given our typing. But we don't really want to see the Galvantula, so we're probably just going to look to take whatever this throws, yeah? The extra power might have actually let us get to the Flame Charge there, but unfortunately we didn't. Let's see what they have in the back. It's, of course, a Water type, so I'm looking to throw the V-Create here. I don't know if that was Lack or if it was a CMP time. I'm not actually sure about the attack values there, but it's basically 2 shields on both sides, and they have a Charizard and a Jellicent. And we just have a Washing Machine. But we do outpace Jellicent to these Shadow Balls. The main issue here could be that if they throw Bubble Beams, I think they could ultimately outpace us, especially when they pull this move where they sack their Charizard. And you can go ahead and see here, almost full health, boom, instant killed. Rotom Wash has a rep for being absolute garbage when shields are up, because it takes it a while to get to its moves. It's like a lantern that hits way harder but has no bulk. But here we managed to take out 2 pretty strong Pokemons with just a washing machine. So yeah, good riddance, or good cleansing, cleaning, I don't know. Next up we have a Kingdra and a Grotle game. And Kingdra's definitely the spiciest pick here. But I decided to give Grotle the MVP status here. And this time, this one match, I do remember why that was the case. So we get an Alolan Muck. I guess it's a pretty neutral matchup. I'm just gonna stay in here at least and try to throw the Octazooka. I don't have any like really good response to Muck aside from Kingdra. And then hope we get the debuff, and we do get the debuff. So I'm pretty optimistic that I can probably take a hit, even though Great League Kingdra is pretty frail, and we do. And we're just barely able to, oh, maybe not barely, we're able to take it out. And we're going for another Octazooka debuff. And we get farmed down. So this Skarmory has some energy. So Lapras essentially has to deal with this. And now I didn't count while I'm casting this. I don't know if I counted during the game. I guess I just feared the Brave Bird, or wanted to make sure that Lapras was aligned because Grotle didn't want to see the Skarmory. But because we killed the Swampert this quick, we are aligned with the Skarmory, which luckily dumped its energy. We have no shields though, so I'm just thinking, oh god, like am I gonna have to Razor Leaf down the Skarmory, and we do that. So Grotle is pretty crazy there. Like it's double resisting to Razor Leafs, and we still somehow got there. So that was a crazy game. So for this game we have Alolan Ninetales, which is pretty meta, and then we have Mantine, which has some better alternatives, and then a Fearow, which is definitely spicy. I've already built a Fearow because I love the idea of a flying type that can just drill run the opponent's electric types when they have no idea it has it. So I built a Fearow ages ago. So here we get a Digger's B-Switch on our Alolan Ninetales, which we tried to counter the Goodra with. I'm probably going to shield here, yeah, just because I don't want to chunk too much, because Ninetales is still our best response to Goodra, even though we're probably going to see something else come in. I'm probably going to let one go through now, since we don't know what's in the back. And Goodra does hit pretty hard still, but it was an Earthquake. I'm pretty sure that would still do a good chunk more than a Fire Punch. But we do take it down. Because he dumped his energy, we could just farm him down, so we have some extra. So we can immediately throw a Weather Ball, and we're probably going to dip out, yeah. So I'm thinking Mantine has a much better matchup with Goodra than Fearow does, seeing as it has Ice Beam. So Fearow is basically just getting sacked here, seeing as we're out of shields. And you can see it even takes a lot from a Grass Knot. So here I think that we can probably just get to the Ice Beam, and if we get there, which we do, I found a bit extra. Not, I guess, like I wanted a bit extra for the next matchup, but then I realized that my switch timer is off, and I can just go Weather Ball, and that is a good game. Right, so this is another game that I do actually remember, and I saw this team and I was like, wow, that's unique and interesting. And we could have some good matchups here, but this game really stood out to me because, well, you'll see in a second now. We are essentially gonna get pretty hard countered by a Pokemon that you would generally not even really use in Open Great League, this being Magneton. I have Bulldoze on the Sandslash, but we're gonna take a lot of charge attacks, and Magneton has really high attack stat. So I'm going into Bronzong just to absorb some damage here. Essentially, I'm just thinking, okay, I'll have to sack it because I don't have any good clean way to deal with this Magneton, and the opponent probably knows it because they're staying in and just keeping the matchup going. I'm probably going to go Sand Slash here, I'm guessing. And from this range, I'm thinking I can probably Ice Punch it down, which I can get to pretty quickly. But now I have to shield, because otherwise it can probably just Thunder Shock me down and kill Emolga. And even going in with random teams, it would really sting to get swept by a Magneton. So he gets off another charge attack, and it gives us the farm down, but we're really not in a great position, and we see a Sumeral, which is so bulky. Luckily, we have Emolga here to dish out some damage. And if you watched part 2 of this video series, I just realized this is part 3 here, even though it's part 4. But if you watched the second part, the very first match actually got a Leviani on my side versus an Emolga, with the exact same thing played out. So that was that felt like karma to me. We come in here and we bulldoze, and it's basically just a race to charge attack here, and they get there when we're one Powder Snow away. I think we actually got the Powder Snow. I think we just hadn't seen the energy tick in yet. So really close game. Came back pretty well from that hard counter, but that Magneton just rolled over my team basically. So in match number 6 here, we have a Ninetales, Shadow I believe, a Alolan Raichu, and a Scolipede. I do remember this being a very meta match as well, because this is probably one of the coolest games I've had all season. So this opponent throws way too early. If he had farmed a bit more, I would have shielded, thinking it was an Earthquake, but I could tell this was just a Fire Punch, and as you're going to see, this is really going to cost this opponent a lot in the end. Here I'm thinking, even if it is an Earthquake, I think he built enough. I don't mind sacking, but he goes Altaria, so we're just going to Side Shock, and I believe we get a shield, yeah. And we're going to go Raichu, and I'm guessing here, we do get some lag through this game as well. The plan is just double Thunder Punch, and I'm already thinking, like, because the lag's about to hit, and like I don't know if I can actually get there. Like, here we go, but I do get it off, luckily. Just to get some chip damage in, which is really going to help us, because at this point I realize Scolipede is just going to have to sweep these 2 Pokemons that resist it, and whatever's in the back, and it's a healthy Asu. But luckily we do have the poison coverage here, and we're able to just farm it down after that Sludge Bomb. And the Diggersby here, it resists everything we're throwing. So I actually no, it doesn't resist X-Scissor, but it does resist the Sludge Bomb, so we just go X-Scissor. But we do have to shield this, and now it's just basically a race, like Sky Attack or Sludge Bomb. What do we get to first? And we get to the Sludge Bomb, and Scolipede goes ahead and sweeps a meta team all by itself, pretty much. Well, I mean, it was a team effort, but it was a really cool Scolipede sweep. I was really happy with this game. And once again, if you watched part 2 of this series I've been doing, you'll see that I have successfully used Misdreavus before. Killed a Lapras and a Vaporeon the last time I got it. So I'm this Pokemon, like I've always liked the Misdreavus, but it's really starting to truly grow on me, because it shouldn't be such a great Pokemon, all things considered. But second game, I get it. We again get the Ominous Wind boost, and I really don't know how much an Ice Beam here is gonna do, so I'm just gonna shield them up. We have the boost, so I'm just gonna fully commit, hoping that they don't have a fighter in the back, really. So here we just keep on going with the Asu. I'm trying to farm it down, and I realize they're probably gonna get to a Ice Beam, and they do shield it, and I'm just thinking, damn, how much is this gonna do? And it's like 20-25% after the boost, which He's still pretty frail, I guess, but could definitely be worse. And he lets the Ominous Wind go through here. Does over half the Grand Ball after Mischievous kills Inasu. And he didn't have a Bastion counter in the back, so he says no thank you. Mischievous was too much for me to handle, so bye-bye. In this next game, we're running a Shadow Nidoqueen. I think I just Poison Fanged it before I happened to get it. We're running Sliggoo, and then we're running Stoutland. I don't know if Stoutland is double moved. Shadow Nidoqueen is. The Sliggoo, I just evolved it the other day, and it has the moves that I basically evolved it with, as I was low on charge GMs. So we get an Alola Marowak, and it's gonna outpace us with these Bone Clubs. So I'm thinking, everyone's playing Nidoqueen right now, everyone's just spamming Poison Fang left and right, but he doesn't actually let it go through. And he comes in with a Shadow Vic to counter this, wanting the other matchup, or maybe just wanting the energy. But he's out of shields, so I'm thinking Sliggoo. It's probably better to save that as I have Water Gun. So I'm coming in here with Nidoqueen, farming it down. I'll just throw the Poison Fang just to basically up the Water Gun damage a bit. And here comes Sliggoo. I thought that this would just die instantly, and when I saw it go Galvantula, I was like, okay, game over. But it's actually fairly tanky, all things considered. I do believe that if I had Charge GM'd to a different move, that would be much faster to get to, such as Muddy Water, I could probably have smacked the Galvantula with that, farmed it down, and then just used it on Marowak and won that game. So Sliggoo could definitely have some play in the Great League, but it sadly didn't bring home the bacon this time around. In the second last game here, we have Mr. Mime, Ivysaur, and Slowking. And I believe since last time I used my Slowking, I did double move it, and I changed away from Water Gun, which I don't know why I have Water Gun in the first place. So we're going up against the level 50 here. And we see... I think that was actually a bad matchup for us since we don't have Shadow Ball, but, we'll take it. That means we can come in here with Ivysaur and take on the Clefable. Ivysaur is actually really solid. Like, it has better stats, I believe, than Venusaur in the Great League. But the fact that Power Whip takes a little bit longer to get to compared to Frenzy Plant. It makes it a little more tricky to use unless you're just going straight Razor Leaf on it. And here, I think I take the bait. I'm so tempted to see if I can farm it down, and it has 1 health left. So that was obviously a misplay, and a pretty severe one at that. If I had just let it go down, this game would probably go way more in my favor, but we tried to come in here with the Slowking, and I feel like I really need the Fire Blast for the Hypno. It's not going to do anything against the Asumaro. So we use Mr. Mime here, and we're probably, we're just going to get killed with a Charge Attack. There's not much we can do there, but it's probably well worth it. And okay, I decide to farm down here. I do believe I was tapping Psychic just as it threw the Ice Beam, but now I might as well just farm it down completely. I kind of lost track of how much energy Hypno had, so we're just Fire Blasting and hoping it KOs, but it doesn't. So at the end of the day, if I hadn't shielded the Ivysaur, I could just have shielded the Ice Beam on the Mr. Mime, and this game would have gone very differently, but GG. Considering how good these Pokemons are, or maybe not so good, that was still a really close game, I'd say. Right, so this last game is pretty weak to quite a few things in the back. Water, pretty weak to grass, very weak to fighting. I'm seeing Mischievous and I'm thinking, you know what, 2 out of 3, we're probably gonna sweep, even though Vibrol is not powered up, and I believe it's still only single moved. But, you know, we're using what we're having. And we actually get matched up with the Nidoqueen. And I'm just thinking, please throw your Poison Fang here. Because this is a pretty good matchup for us. We resist the poison and we can just Ominous Wind. Now though, I wanted to swap out if they did. And we can't really swap out now, so we have to fight this Poliwrath with a defense drop, because Poliwrath absolutely destroys both of our backline Pokemons. So I'm thinking, if I can deal with this here, we can probably take Nidoqueen out relatively clean with Bibarel. And unless they have fighting or water or something in the back, Akron might have some play here, even though I'm sure, as you know, Akron isn't the greatest. But we come in with Bibarel, we take it out. They still have 2 shields, so I'm really hoping we have a good matchup in the back. They're coming in with Nidoqueen. We're just gonna eat this Poison Fang, most likely, yeah. And then we go Surf, but they catch it on a Politoed, so they're running Poliwrath, Politoed. And we faced up against one of the things we were just super weak to in the back, Water and then Fighting. So when I saw the lead here, I believed that this would be probably an easy game. Like, it can only go so wrong from here, I thought. And it was probably almost the worst outcome, but GG though. Pretty cool game anyway. Got to use some Pokemons there that I hadn't used before. So that was it. That was the 10 battles that I decided to feature now, and we do have more coming up. So if you like this kind of stuff, just lots of random battles, lots of spice. I'm probably still going to filter out most of the, you know, where I use 1300 crap that just gets destroyed by meta stuff that hard counters whatever I end up with. But I'm definitely going to try to feature most of the like cool games, win or loss, where I use spice to overcome things that seem impossible, or where opponents also have some really spicy teams. So if you want to watch more of that kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe. And again, any kind of engagement with the video, liking, commenting, and of course, you know, subscribing overall, it really helps me out. So if you do enjoy this, I would appreciate it, and I hope that you have a lovely day. Adios.